Before you book the trip that's been sitting in the back of your mind, we want you to change one small thing about it first. Not the place, not the dream, just where and when you point it. Because here's the question worth answering today. Why does the exact same kind of trip, the same mountains, the same coastline, the same impossibly blue water, cost one person twice what it costs another? And which of those two numbers is the one you've quietly assumed was just the price? Let's decode this together. Here's the part you already feel. Travel got expensive, and it stayed that way. Every time you price out a flight, your stomach does a little drop. But there's a quieter truth underneath that, and it's the one nobody puts on a sticker. The price you see for the famous version of a trip and the price of an almost identical trip a little to the left are two completely different numbers. You've been shown the first one for years. The second one was always sitting right there. The fix also isn't some VPN trick you saw online, where you switch your currency and supposedly unlock a secret fare. Those are inconsistent at best, and the booking sites caught onto them years ago. The real lever is much simpler, and it's hiding in plain sight. So why is the famous version always the expensive one? Here's the whole point of this video in one line. You're rarely paying for a better experience. Mostly, you're paying for a more popular name on a more popular week. A handful of destinations became the destinations. Everybody saw the same photos, wanted the same dates, and booked the same places. And when a crowd all wants one thing at one time, the price climbs to meet them. That's it. The whole engine, right there. You're not paying extra because the mountains in Switzerland beat the mountains an hour away. The extra goes to the word Switzerland, which is doing a lot of quiet work on that price tag. And that premium, the name plus the busiest week, doesn't stop at the flight. Watch how it spreads. The name tax lands in your hotel first, which is usually the single biggest line on the whole trip, bigger than the airfare most of the time. You'll feel it again at the restaurants that know exactly how far you traveled to sit in them. And it hides in the resort fees and the parking and the little add-ons that only seem to exist in places built for tourists. So the gap between the famous trip and its quieter twin isn't a few dollars on airfare. It compounds across every single day you're there. 5 nights at the famous place can cost what 10 nights cost at the one nobody's posting about. Same sunsets, half the bill. And that's where the question starts to answer itself. If most of what you're paying for is the name and the timing, then the trip you can actually afford isn't a smaller, sadder version of the dream. It's the same feeling, just pointed somewhere with less of a markup. So let's make this real, because this is the fun part. Say the mountains are calling. Everybody pictures Switzerland, and Switzerland will happily take your money. But Slovenia sits right next door with the same kind of jaw-dropping alpine scenery, the same lakes and peaks, for a fraction of the cost. The lodging runs cheaper. Food costs less. The whole day simply adds up to less. And look, we feel the pull of the famous name as much as anyone. We'd book the postcard tomorrow if our bank account would stop reading over our shoulder. Or picture that Amalfi coast daydream, the cliffs, the blue water, the little towns stacked up the hillside. Italy charges a serious premium for that postcard now. Cross the water to the Albanian Riviera, and you get a strikingly similar coastal feeling for a fraction of what the famous coast asks. It won't be identical, and that's actually the point. You're not buying a copy. You're buying the same feeling without the famous name surcharge. Here's the one that surprises people most. You might not have to leave the country at all. And depending on where you live, you might not even have to fly. Somewhere within driving distance of you, there's a natural wonder that rarely makes the postcards. If you're out west, a road trip through Washington's Olympic National Park, the Hoh rainforest dripping with green, the wild beaches, the hot springs at Sol Duck can honestly feel like another planet for about a tank of gas and a campsite. Now, if you're sitting in New York, Washington is its own expensive flight, so that exact trip isn't the cheap one for you. But your version exists too. Maybe it's the Adirondacks, or the coast of Maine, or a stretch of the Blue Ridge. The move isn't this one park. It's finding the one close enough to reach on a tank of gas instead of a plane ticket. If the big international trip is the one truly calling you, there's a real one worth knowing about. The Japanese yen has been sitting weak for a while now, which means once your flight is handled, your day-to-day spending on the ground in Japan can stretch noticeably further than you'd guess against plenty of trips closer to home. Now layer one more thing on top of where you go, and it's about when. Shifting your trip just outside the busiest weeks into the shoulder season like September or October often knocks a real chunk off the price, sometimes up to a third, with thinner crowds and weather that's still genuinely good. Same place, a few weeks to the side, noticeably less. So the move, before you book a thing, is small and specific. Take the trip already living in your head and look up its quieter twin and its shoulder season dates. Put the famous version and the affordable one side by side. You might still pick the famous one, but you'll be choosing it on purpose instead of just assuming it was the only number on offer. Beyond that, here are a few things worth considering when you're planning a trip. First, for whatever trip you're dreaming about, pull up its shoulder season and set those weeks next to peak. The gap is often bigger than people expect. Second, when you compare options, compare the whole trip, not just the flight. A cheap fare buried under resort fees, baggage charges, and the cost of getting around once you land isn't actually cheap. The number that matters is the one at the very bottom after everything's added in. And if a rental car is part of the plan, book the kind you can cancel for free, then keep half an eye on the rate. Tools like AutoSlash will track your reservation and ping you when a lower price shows up, though you'll still be the one to rebook it. So if you take one thing from this, let it be this. The trip you can afford and the trip you actually want are usually closer than the sticker price makes them look. Most of the gap is the name and the timing, and both of those are things you get to choose. Pick the quieter twin, or shift your dates, or both. And if you've got a little runway before the trip, quietly setting the money aside ahead of time means you get to go without dragging the bill home with you. But the real unlock isn't a secret hack. It's just refusing to pay the famous name premium when the same feeling is sitting right next door for less. Quick reminder. Everything we cover on Decoded Money is for educational purposes only. None of this is financial advice, and we're not licensed financial advisors. Before you make any money moves, do your own research and talk to someone who knows your specific situation. If this was useful, hit subscribe. We do this every week. That's the Decode for this week. We'll see you in the next one.